English referees muck up VAR yet again. Not once, not twice, but 3 times.
I think it comes back to the pernickety nature of certain VARs at certain times. Why do you need to get involved?
They let the player down. The officials let the player down, and I'm not having it because it's about the players. The joy of football.
This is where we might disagree.
Okay. English referees muck up VAR yet again. Not once, not twice, but 3 times in one weekend. And that is because the officiating in England is incompetent, self-absorbed, and absolutely not fit for purpose, in my estimation. Martin, there were 3 incidents. Television dealt a lot with 2 of them. So I'm going to start with one that it didn't deal with, which was at my game, Aston Villa against Chelsea, where Mark Cucurella dragged young Lamar Bogart to the ground from behind after a Marcus Rashford free kick had been muddled away. It should have been a penalty to Aston Villa. I cheered that it wasn't, but it damn well was. VAR looked at it, didn't see it, and, well, let's go straight from there to Goodison Park, where Harry Maguire pulled back Ashley Young, who maybe did dive, but the fact is that if you pull a guy back, you don't look at whether the bloke's dived or not. You just look at whether the pullback has prevented them from getting the ball. Here were clear penalties for Aston Villa and Everton, not given by VAR. Given
on field given.
Not at Villa. On field not seen, I think.
Oh,
well,
right.
I don't know. It
Well,
was Michael Oliver
a
refereeing.
play on is a decision, Neil. So if it was, let's assume it was seen. So it's an on-field decision.
VAR looked at it.
I think it comes back to the pernickety nature of certain VARs at certain times. Why do you need to get involved? If they genuinely thought that wasn't a penalty, it is a matter of opinion in this case. The Ashley Young one was given as a penalty. Was there enough in that for VAR to meddle with it? A lot of people think not. There was a time, a long time ago now, I would suggest, where Ashley Young was known as somebody who would try a trick or two to win a free kick or win a penalty. That's not been something, a label, he's not got that label pinned on him now. He's playing more as a defender anyway, so not as a winger as he was. But once it's given, was there enough in it to overturn it? Had it not been given, was enough in it to give it? I think either way, it's the interference that probably you're objecting to, and I think probably
it's 2 things. It is the interference, but more that what I'm really objecting to is this complete incompetence, and I'm beginning to think due to incontinence on the part of referees, this complete incompetence to deal with penalty area action as opposed to the rest of the field action. There should not be different rules in the penalty area to the rest of the field. If a guy's dragged back, if a guy's hauled down, it's a penalty. And what really gets on my goat, as I've said to you before, is when the referees stop the game before a set play, when there's shenanigans going on, and starts lecturing people. Shut the F up. Shut up. Withdraw. It's nothing to do with you. Blow your whistle if there's a breach of the rules. Make sure you do if there's a breach of the rules, and just let play go on if there isn't a breach of the rules.
That's what they're letting play go on, because it's a simultaneous breach of the rules. And to pick one person out, yeah, you could have a campaign to do it. That's been tried in the past, and I think England did pretty well in the 2018 World Cup, getting penalties from corners that were
from
pushing and
good
shoving.
Officiating by Italians who aren't
because
English.
that was the trend then. The trend now is to let it go unless it's absolutely blatantly obvious. We saw Tariq Lamptey at Brighton v Forest, I think, penalised for doing something, and a penalty was given for that. But he was out beyond the near post,
and it was about 5-0 at the time.
And clear sight. It was in clear sight, and a lot of it's not in clear sight. I don't agree with you about the referees. The one thing that I can update you with is this trial system of players going into refereeing at a level that means that they don't have to start in the park is happening, and probably will be brought in next season. I don't know how many, and it might not be a huge amount, but the Howard Webb is working really hard to try and give this, which has always been, I suppose, received wisdom that it will be better if you've got an ex-player refereeing than the referees who've been refereeing since they were 12 and never had the chance to play. So whether that'll work, we have to see, but we're going to get the chance to see whether it will work, because they're going to give, let's say, half a dozen, maybe a few more, a career with a wage. So they're not starting for 30 quid a game in the park like the referees that you're talking about and slagging off now. They will be given that chance to show that there might be something better round the corner. But these mistakes are made with human error. They're not made because there is absolutely, unlike some other nations where there have been suspect referees have been actually charged for.
I'm not suggesting that.
There's no dishonesty here, but
incompetence.
There is pressure. And funnily enough, one of the great sayings about football, and way back before VAR, was it'll even itself out over the season. For Manchester United being saved from a potentially losing penalty at Everton, go back to before the turn of the year to West Ham, when Manchester United, through VAR, were awarded a penalty against them, which hadn't been awarded on the field, and it won the game. Jared Bowen scored the penalty, and they were on the wrong end of it. This time they're on the right end of it. So is it just with the technology? Is it just the old adage coming true again? It will even itself out.
Well, we also had Zibani sent off for Bournemouth for his challenge on, was it 8-0 of Wolves, for what looked like a collision, not a particularly nice collision, but something that simply wasn't a challenge that was going to bring Aït-Nouri into danger, except for the accident of the way he twisted after winning the ball.
It was an on-field yellow card.
Yeah.
You're happy with that?
Yeah.
But then Zibani booted the ball away and should have been given a second yellow card for delaying the restart. But they missed the trick, because he would have then been sent off without VAR having to come into it.
Yeah. But VAR came into it, and you get a 3-match suspension unless they appeal, rather than a 1-match suspension than you got for booting it away.
Yeah,
double yellow
for
card.
A double yellow card. Yeah, you're right. But the truth is,
the referees got it wrong again.
No, I don't agree with you. I don't think it's from my personal point of view, my love of football, my joy of football, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because nobody got hurt, and
so it's not even a yellow card.
But you can't in I don't know how long we'll have to go back. 20 years, maybe. It would never have even been a foul, probably.
No, and I'm not sure it was.
But
it was a collision.
When you tackle and your foot goes up off the ball, you are responsible for that. Whether it's the ball forcing your foot up or whatever,
accept that.
You are responsible for that.
So I accept the yellow card, but never a red card. It is the duty of the referee, and that includes the VAR referees, to keep the game 11 versus 11 for as much as possible, unless there's
not the duty of them. It's their love for football should put that in the back of their brains, but it's not a duty to do that.
It is.
Their duty is to make sure the players are the laws of the game are upheld and the players' safety is maintained.
Yes, but you don't send them off because you're a pernicious, vicious, officious referee. You send them off because of a real breach of the laws, and this was
he didn't send them off. He didn't send him off. The VAR sent him off.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not talking about the referee on the pitch.
But now
I'm talking about the VAR officials.
Yeah, now you're dealing back with, is VAR the right way? If there was no VAR, then he would not have been
Yes,
sent
so
off.
now-
Lewis Skelly would not have been sent off, as he certainly should deserve to be sent off. So, where you go with this, you're damned if you do and damned if you
No,
don't.
you don't. You're not. It's the obligation of the officials to get things right. And too often, the officials are making it about themselves and interfering and getting it wrong. When they get it right, pat on the back, fine. Arsenal, Lewis Skelly,
We've done
fine.
50 podcasts or something like that. I haven't heard you pat one on the back in any of them.
Because
It
in
was
England,
right to send off Lewis Skelly, wasn't it?
Yes.
Are you going to go?
Yes.
Going to say that?
yeah, congratulations, it was correct.
Yeah.
But in England,
So pat on the back.
refereeing is incompetent in the main. It is not as good as it is in, say, Italy, unless, of course, in Italy, just once or twice, there's a little bit in the pocket behind. But yeah, okay, that's it. I'm angry.
Yeah, and I think you're off beam with that. I do think you're being very unfair, and I do think there are errors. They're human beings. I've said this.
Now there is a whole new discussion.
I will say that the big mistake, and this is me reiterating, the big mistake is to try and make them referee the same. The search for continuity should be based on continuity and consistency within yourself. So if you have a strict referee, he needs to be strict all the time. If you have a jolly chat to the players type referee, he needs to be like that all the time. And all they need to do, and all you need as players, is to know he's refereeing today. Watch out for this. He might be that, because he's doing it for himself. These people refereeing at any level in any country now are being told to be something that they're not. It's like telling a commentator that you've all got to commentate the same way. And all the commentators, and now there are lots and lots of them, they're all being themselves. Now, you might like them and you might not like them, but that's what they're being true to themselves. They're not being told by anybody above saying, yeah, of course you've got to get the names right. Of course you've got to work within the time frame. Of course you've got to be nice to your co-commentator, which was my speciality. I loved having co-commenters. I really miss them when I do games on my own. But you're allowed to do it. Now, the referees aren't allowed to do it. They have to conform to certain things. And most of the problems we're having with this is them thinking, well, if I don't do that, then I will be marked down.
Yeah, but there's also the quality of the selection of playbacks that they're showing to the referees on monitors, as Match of the Day pointed out.
Yeah, but
and that is a real problem as well.
They were shown, I'm told, the one you're talking about was Abani. It was shown where the point of contact was. That's why it was shown.
Yeah, but they let the player down. The officials let the player down, and I'm not having it, because it's about the players, not about the bloody officials. There you go. Right.
Welcome to the joy of football.